Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the NECA Robocop poster series Robocop. I got this at Best Buy. This is Robocop from the first film, based off the movie poster. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, part man, part machine, all cop. Robocop, the future of law enforcement. Packaging is pretty cool. It's like he's getting out of his car. Pretty well done. He has a sort of red tint to him, just like the movie poster. One side of the package, you can see the accessories that come with this thing. Other side, here's Robocop getting out of his police vehicle. And the back, Robocop, some other figures from the movie, and it's excellent releases. And at the bottom, there's his barcode, if that helps. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. He comes with some pretty cool stuff. We have the Auto 9 pistol, the Cobra assault cannon, the data spike hand, and a gun blast effect. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Robocop, Alex Murphy from the first Robocop film in 1987. This is the movie poster variant, pretty much Robocop with a red tint. Now, I definitely have some quality control issues with mine. The first one I got from Best Buy was missing a finger, so I returned it, swapped it out. And the second one, his entire sort of leg crumbled apart. So, got another one, and you know what they say, there dries a charm. So let's take a closer look. Now, it's pretty much a re-release of a figure from well over 10 years ago. And the articulation is quite dated, but he looks damn good. The sculpt is great. Look at that helmet, that mouth, it screams Alex Murphy from Robocop. He's got the red tint on his head, and sort of on one side of the body, not so much on the other side. Look at the chest piece, those little spikes below the biceps, or the pecs rather. Steel jointed elbows, steel jointed knees. He does have the action feature, where it's spring-loaded and will pop open. He's got the little hydraulics down here. They're very fragile. Be careful there. He sort of goes up and down, but it can break very easily. I notice on his leg it says OCP Police 00. I just love the way this guy looks. And his articulation's stiff, but he moved very stiff in the film, so it kind of matches, but that sculpt is just on point. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. The paint job's kind of weird, but the sculpt is amazing. Both the mouth and the helmet. And this one has these weird sort of little lines on the side of the face. I don't know, it's like some sort of cell shading. Looks kind of weird. And then, here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. And let's start off with the hands. He has a total of 3 hands. One left hand, and 2 right hands. Here he is, with his first pair of hands. His right hand is a gripping hand to the trigger finger, and his left hand is an open hand. And here's his alternate right hand. This one has the data spike, which allows him to not only communicate with computers, but he also used it to kill Clarence Bodiger at the end of the film. In some ways, it looks like he's holding the middle finger. Next, we have the Auto 9 pistol. It's always stood out to me as a kid. It's this pistol with this giant barrel, and it shoots in sort of a burst. It has a red tint, just like the figure, and it looks pretty damn good as well. Here's a look at Robocop holding that pistol. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. And he also has an action feature. It's a really cool action feature. It's spring-loaded, sort of opening on his legs so he can holster away his pistol, just like in the film. But be very careful. This thing is very fragile. It can break very easily over time, or really quickly. So, press this thing up, pops open the leg, then you can take the pistol, and you gotta get in there quite right. It does have a little sort of peg to holster it, but it just feels very fragile. Feels like you'll sort of tear it to shreds, I don't know. Well, if you can get it in there just right, and there you go. Got the pistol into the right position. You use that little peg into the trigger area, and it can be very tricky. Now when you shut it, make sure you're not covering up the little sort of button there, and it should just all sort of fall into place. There you go. Like I said, pretty delicate, pretty fragile, but pretty damn cool as well. And his final accessory, which is probably the coolest thing he comes with, is the Cobra Assault Cannon with blast effect. This giant cannon that was used by some of the villains near the end of the film. It's like an explosive sniper rifle. Look at the barrel, it's so long. There's a strap to go over the shoulder, tinted in red, and it has sort of ability to make it like a lay-down sniper thing. You can pull these out, lay down, although I have some issue with the other side. Just gotta kind of make sure it's not obstructed, and bam, there you go. Very cool item from a very cool movie. Here's Robocop holding that weapon, and with this limited articulation, this is about the best he can hold it. And then here, with the attached blast effect. And then here he is, holstering that item onto his shoulder. Now to check out the reuse, differences, and similarities between this new version of Robocop next to NECA's original version. And there have not been very many upgrades. Let's take a closer look. Obviously the paint job is a little bit different. This guy has the red tint. Now the head sculpt looks to be exactly the same. Pretty much everything on him is exactly the same, except for this guy has a spring-loaded holster. This guy does not. Single jointed elbows, single jointed knees, kind of limited weak rotation that they've kept. What is this? Better part of 15 years later. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing right at 7 or 7.1 inches tall, which can translate to about 18 centimeters. And for his articulation, which is kind of limited, which I think works for the way he moved in the film. So starting with his head, of course, you're going to rotate side to side. He can look up, not much, down pretty good amount. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders and a ball joint, they literally go out that far. They're obstructed by the shoulders up there. They can go up, all the way, and out. That is it. He's got a single jointed elbow, goes in less than 90 degrees, no rotation. He has a little cut here, but that's because you swap out the hands. The other one has the same cut there as well. Nothing in the wrist, it's in the forearm. In his torso, he has a ball joint here, rotate around about that far, forward and back, just a tiny bit. Traditional waist swivel below that. Legs, they only go out about that far. They can really go all the way around if you want them to. There's sort of a ball joint inside of here, but it barely gets you any range of motion. Single jointed knee goes in about 90 degrees. And then the ankle. And always be careful with the sort of hydraulics in the back. Forward and back, forward and back. I've broken that on the first guy pretty easily. And not very easy to fix it, especially retaining the articulation. Doesn't tilt rock, doesn't rotate, just goes forward and back a little bit. So like I said, very limited, but his sort of stiff movements in the film kind of makes it work. Here's a look at Robocop in the streets of old Detroit. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Robocop figures. Here is NECA's poster version of Robocop next to NECA's original first release. And they've made so many variations that have really not improved much upon the original. But he doesn't need to be super articulated and double jointed and able to do Spider-Man type poses, because he couldn't in the film. And here he is, next to the unmasked version of Robocop. This is a single release when they finally got the likeness to Peter Weller. And here he is, next to the battle damage version of Robocop. This is the one that came with the OCP chair. Giving me 4 different versions of Robocop by NECA. And they have made so many more. This is the original release. They made another one like him, but he had the spring-loaded holster. They made a blue version of him that I think was based off Robocop 2. I think at one point they made a Robocop 3 version with the rocket pack. They made all kind of different Robocop versus Terminator figures. And I passed on a lot of those, although if they came out now, I'd probably get them. When they first released these, I had the original Robocop, and I thought, that is enough. I need one Robocop in my collection, one look, and it's the best look out there. But I do appreciate having some of the other variants, the unmasked, the battle damage especially. The movie poster one, it looks okay, it looks pretty cool, but it's kind of pointless as far as actual movie on-screen variants go, etc. Here's Robocop next to NECA's Alex Murphy figure. Alex Murphy was the police officer Robocop was before he died, and was brought back to life and turned into a cyborg. Now originally they didn't have the likeness to Peter Weller, so they couldn't show his face, they couldn't make the unmasked head, they could only show his sort of chin, because they're using the likeness of Robocop and not Peter Weller. And when they finally got the likeness to Peter Weller, they hurried, released Alex Murphy, and then a bunch of different unmasked Robocop figures. Double dipping on the sculpt, etc., but I really don't have any complaints. This Alex Murphy figure here is one of my favorites in the entire collection. And I got 6 of these Alex Murphy figures to use as police officers in my Gotham City Police Department, the GCPD, and they work great as sort of SWAT or riot officers, geared up to fight the streets of Detroit, and equally prepared to fight on the streets of Gotham. And here he is, next to a couple of ED-209 figures. I love the Robocop design, I love the ED-209 design. NECA just captured it perfectly. Now I really hope NECA gives us an Ann Lewis figure in the police attire to go along with Alex Murphy. I would say that is my number one want in this line. I would buy several of her. Now I also want the villains from the film, Clarence Bodiger in particular, but it doesn't seem like NECA's ever going to make them. There is another company, JFS Toys, that is making them, and they're supposed to come out early next year. They're making sort of the main rogues, Clarence Bodiger, Emil, Leon Nash, Joe Cox, and Steve Min. Cannot wait to get those guys. They appear to be intended to go along with your NECA figures. So, I'll be really happy when I get that squad. And here's NECA's Robocop, next to a NECA T800. There are some similarities, but some significant differences. Mainly, Robocop's a cyborg, and the T800 is a robot. A cyborg is a human augmented with robot parts. Robocop was originally human. The T800 never was, but had human parts put on top of his robot parts. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a NECA figure, they are typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his NECA brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figures, all from NECA Toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, with some Jack-specific resin figures, and some Diamond Select toys, here's Robocop, next to a couple of jars of baby food. Very appropriate for the random comparison in this video, and I'm sure most of you guys will understand why. And here he is, with some McFarlane and DC Direct figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a cool Robocop figure. The sort of red shading on him, it visually looks interesting. Makes him sort of pop on the shelf and sort of differentiates him from the previous Robocop figures. But it's not really accurate to anything besides a random poster for the movie. I really do like the Robocop sculpt. I think it is fantastic. They did a great job with accuracy and just capturing the presence and likeness from the film. Even without the likeness to Peter Weller, they did a great job with the mouth area. The helmet, the chest, is just all on point. Now it is a little bit dated. His articulation is very limited. The spring-loaded holster is very delicate. You could break that thing so easily. I find sometimes it just falls apart and you have to really gently put it all back together. It's a really cool idea, but the execution could be a little better. He also doesn't hold the large rifle nearly as good as I wish he would, but I'm really happy to have that gun. I think it's so cool from the film. If I were to rate this guy, I'd probably give him like a 6.5 out of 10. Now the regular version, probably damn near worth an 8 if he just had a little bit better range of motion on like his shoulders and elbows. Still, really solid figures, but man, NECA has milked the hell out of this mold at this point. They've probably released 8 Robocop figures on this mold. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.